I am quite sure that I have talked about this before, but obviously it takes another look. And this is what we call the war against wisdom. But sometimes out of the mouth of babes, and that's babies because that's what you are if you're not 70 or 80 years old, comes wisdom. And that wisdom sometimes can lead a nation. It is indispensable. And some babes or babies come into this world with the minds, thoughts, and emotions and leadership of the elders. But this world is loud, but our silence is killing too many of our greatest minds. Not because they have lost strength, but because the world has found new ways to make them feel small. The truth is, there's a quiet war happening. Not one fought with weapons, but one fought with distraction. A war designed to silence those who live long enough to see through the lies. They don't want wisdom anymore. They want foolishness. They want noise, distraction. They don't want thinkers. They want followers. The world rewards distraction because distraction keeps people docile. See, when you busy scrolling, arguing, comparing, consuming, you stop questioning, you stop remembering who you are, if you ever knew who you are. That's not by accident, that's by design. The world doesn't just move fast, it moves loud, and the louder it gets, the more it drowns out the quiet voices of reason, truth, and experience. Because the system fears people like Jasmine Crockett, Al Green, who see clearly. It fears the ones who can't be hypnotized by the next trend or trapped by the next lie. You are the very thing they hope stays silent because your voice carries the truth that can wake others up. But look around. What do they feed us instead? They give us gadgets and games to keep our minds busy. They give us headlines and outrage to keep us divided. They give us false idols to keep us distracted from the real power that lives within us. They want you chasing toys instead of truth, comfort instead of clarity, attention instead of wariness. They want you in a world that fears the mature mind, because the mature mind doesn't just react, it reflects. It questions the game and demands the scoreboard. And that kind of awareness doesn't make profit, it makes power. So they keep you busy, busy watching, busy working, busy worrying, until your mind grows tired and your purpose goes quiet. That's how entire generations are tamed. Not through force, but through focus, misplaced focus. But the wise are not meant to be tamed. For instance, one young man, he plays football. That's another game, another way to keep you distracted, but we love it. It says, and he said, stop living like you already lost. Live for the future, not for what you used to be. And some of us live in the past because the present is too painful. The present is looking in the mirror, doing your self-history, looking at all of that bad stuff that you did and who you are now and what you got to show for it. You see, You have to still have some fight in you, still have some vision, because the world wants you living in memories, not mission. They want you replaying what was, not creating what can be. They want you feeling old, irrelevant, invisible, while they profit off your silence. This war is psychological, not physical. It's not fought with guns, it's fought with algorithms, attention, addiction. Instead of chains on your body, the world now uses chains on your mind. They control what you see, what you fear, what you chase. Every scroll, every trending topic, every headline is designed to steer you away from Ibrahim Traore, from Africa, from South America, from Brazil. Oh, but then the result, people feel busy but empty, connected but unseen, informed but uninspired. The silence of the wise, those who live long enough to recognize patterns. Have you noticed how society treats experience like it's outdated? That's intentional because wisdom slows the game down. It questions, it analyzes, it exposes. When elders, thinkers, or community leaders start speaking truth, especially that threatens the system's illusions, they are ignored, mocked, and silenced. That's why the message says they don't want wisdom, they want noise. They want some fool running around with an American flag talking about he loves somebody that don't love him. Distraction is the new control. It is a weapon, and it has been weaponized. Every second your mind is consumed by meaningless noise. It is not building, teaching, or awakening. The modern system has replaced religion and tradition with consumerism, worship of products, all the things that keep you occupied, while the real power consolidates quietly in the background. They give us gadgets and games to keep our mind busy. But the more divided people become, the easier they are to manage. Age isn't defeat. It's a challenge to everyone, but especially those who think their purpose is behind them. Society wants you to feel used up after 50 because awakened, an elder is dangerous. Someone who's lived through the lies and still has the will to teach and ignite generations. That's why speech, your wisdom, is your currency, and the system knows it. Once you understand that, stop chasing youth, start investing in legacy. The real revolution is inner clarity. A clear mind can't be manipulated. A grounded person can't be controlled. The greatest act of rebellion in a distracted world is clarity. When you remember who you are, you see the illusion for what it is, and you stop feeding it. You start using that energy for something lasting, creation, education, mentorship, community, and spiritual development. That's how we shift from being invisible to indispensable. Building on that, reclaim your focus, build insistent impact, reconnect the generations, turn silence into structure, refuse to act defeated. Act like the kings and queens you are because you don't know who you are. You act just like the fools they want you to act like. You were built to lead, to build, to teach, to correct the course. You've already survived too much to act defeated now. Your wisdom is your currency, and the system knows it. That's why it keeps you distracted. Because if you ever remember your value, you become unstoppable. So stop giving your energy to what steals it. Stop feeding the noise. Stop worshiping the distraction. Rise, speak, build, teach, lead. You were never invisible. You were hidden in plain sight. The value that didn't disappear was suppressed. Your future doesn't depend on what the world gives you. It depends on what you choose to give back. So reclaim your mind, reclaim your purpose, reclaim your time. Because in a world built to distract you and subdue you, the one who stays focused become unstoppable.